Hello, welcome to another Sonic Lab special. We've got Oliver Davis here from Roland UK, who is kind of like the Sonar X2a guru, and he's bringing the Lenovo Thinkpad. We're going to have a look at some of the sort of touch aspects to Sonar X2a. That's the right thing.
Yeah, X2a.
So what are we running on here? What's the hardware we've got?
We've got Windows 8, 64-bit, 8 gig of RAM. It's an i7 dual 2.4 gig processor.
Right.
And the thing that really makes this jump out at you is the 100 gig solid-state hard drive, which really, streaming audio and things like that, it's just absolutely seamless.
So it's a Lenovo Twist. I looked it up, it's about 950 quid. So it's, it's a chunk of change, but it's actually quite a lot of computer for the money, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just used as a touch device. It could be your main studio computer, mobile studio computers, all there. Power's absolutely unbelievable in there. So
we're running Sonar X2a, which has had kind of some modifications to it to make it kind of work with touch rather than just have a touch screen and kind of you go. Yeah. There's a bit more going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got certain aspects that work with multi-touch, which I'll show you in a second, with the pinch to zoom, which we're all familiar with on our iPads and everything like that, which is, at the moment, I've got 37 audio tracks running there, which, with a keyboard and mouse, a little bit difficult to navigate around. So, flip of a finger, bang.
Straight there, yeah. It's very responsive.
Zoom in to the absolute tightest level, down to the beat, as you can see there. Straight back out.
And it zooms the tracks at the same time, so you're getting both.
Absolutely, that's as you can see there.
Both panels. Can I just have a feel, see how responsive that is? Because one of the things about that happens with a lot of touchscreens is it's down to the responsivity of the touchscreen, because it can feel quite laggy, but this seems
absolutely.
to...
I mean, it's real time, it's very fast. I mean, with the touch, we weren't trying to take away the keyboard and mouse. That's always going to be in there. But you do have options then. If you're in the studio now with a mouse keyboard, bang, you just go straight to your track.
I mean, that's the thing that we found, and we've been looking at some DAW-type applications on the iPad where you are purely limited to the touch interface, and it's a bit of a nightmare because you can't get key commands, you can't get those workflow things that help you work fast, but you've got that's obviously all intact in this, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to sort of get the right-click copy-paste and moving everything bang on to the beat that you want. You're always going to be using your keyboard and mouse or other device to sort of do that. But it's the simple, quick navigation. And the more I've been using this now for the past fortnight, and I'm finding myself naturally using the keyboard and mouse and just using the touch.
So I noticed you've got 37 tracks there. Yeah. We should at least listen to what they're doing, right?
Okay. Another cool feature as well is just tap the timeline, bang, you're there.
Okay.
And I tell you what, let's zoom right into any particular track, just so you can see the response of this.
Wow,
I see something will be coming in now. Here.
Oh, okay, yep.
So that looks like it's the snare we're looking at there.
And what about other features? I mean, obviously the pinch and zoom and the kind of moving around a large arrangement, that kind of makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. And what other aspects kind of benefit from the touch?
Well, I mean, the first thing, again, is scrolling up and down your channels, or on the main screen as well. You've got the Pro Channel strip as well, which you can obviously navigate.
Yeah, that's one of the big cakewalk Sonar bullet points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Pro Channel strip is absolutely unbelievable. You've got your console emulators, your tube amps in there, your EQs, everything like that. So you can navigate nicely with that. But I think if we switch to the console view, which this, personally, I think is going to be one of the most beneficial functions for anyone with the touchscreen.
Right.
Obviously, the first thing is above and below. That's where you navigate your up, down, left,
so
right.
They've actually made particular zones where it touches. Yes, I see.
Yeah.
So they've intelligently programmed it so that when you touch on a certain part of the screen, it's not moving.
Absolutely.
Because again, that's another thing that we found with the arrange pages on DAWs that are happening on the iPad. You kind of tap on the arrangement and suddenly you're moving patterns around. It's like, no, I don't want to do that.
I think there's just subtly introduced touch to certain areas rather than everything is, and you might not even make use of that. So I think they're sort of really thinking hard and implementing that then into the correct areas.
So you can whip around.
So obviously you've got your left, right there, and again, if you do it down here, you got that, which is fine. Then you've got your faders there. But again, here's an example, using in my case, 3 faders there, and independently
having the pan as well.
Having the pan there, which again makes it great for automation. So I'll just show you some automation there quickly. So let's just we'll work on these 3 tracks for now. Press play, and then we'll automate that. So you can give yourself a natural fade in, depending on what track. So if you're using a bus,
right,
that's totally up to you.
I guess you could use, I mean, I suppose one might use a control surface for that as well. I mean, this is the thing, obviously the screen we've got here is a smaller resolution. I mean, we've seen demos with sort of really big, and they look fantastic, and you can get much more on the screen. But for a sort of small, compact setup, this definitely seems to work well as well, right?
I mean, I'm just loving the pinch to zoom at the moment. You know, just something as simple as that to hand.
I have a sense that maybe your arrangements can get quite large and sort of unwieldy, so it's a perfect sort of scenario.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, why not take advantage of the power that's within Sonar? You know, go freezing your tracks if you run out of CPU power. Build them up, bounce them down, you can have a crazy arrangement. What I've got on the master channel, RMix, Roland RMix.
Oh, that's the thing that does the...
it's the isolating the bands there. So let's just enable that. And let's play the song a minute. So this would take a couple of seconds just to move into position wherever our song is. There we go, look. So let's just turn the inside and outside levels on. So there's the, obviously, frequency spectrum of the master mix. As you can see, the song start to build up. There we are. I think sort of around the centre here is our snare. So what we can do is isolate the outside level.
Right. That's quite bad. I mean, the XY makes kind of more sense almost to the mouse.
So what we can do again is arm our track with the automation. We sort of set this. Okay, this is being used on a master bus at the moment. You can use hundreds of instances of this on different buses, tracks, whatever you want, just for demonstration purposes. So what we could do is maybe get the frequencies down here.
All right, so you're just moving around the spectrum, but again, it makes sense for touch, because doing that with a mouse, I mean, yeah, I suppose mouse makes sense, but I mean, touch just feels somehow...
more natural, you can get the response. And then, again, let's just play that back, just for demonstration purposes. We'll see that move now.
Right, and that's it, it's that easy.
And I mean, if you imagine you've inserted the RMix onto all your buses and you're sort of isolating different frequencies and moving them around. Of course, you know, this is mainly used for isolating the frequencies, getting rid of what you don't want. But you can use it as a filter effect. You know, it's totally up to you. So
presumably, I mean, you do a lot of tech support, right? That's kind of one of your primary roles. Are you finding that there are many people adopting the touch side of things? Are you getting calls about that and saying, how does this work? Or is it seems to be...
It seems to be logic, because what we've stuck with, like with the pinch to zoom, everyone's just used to going to a touch device, whether it's your iPad, your Android tablet. You just know what to do, and they're just taking that natural... you can relate to it.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as you use it, somebody, maybe with a new touchpad installed Sonar, they can instantly relate back to their phone or other touch device as well.
So I'm curious, I mean, presumably all of this sort of utilising touch on the interface, this is an ongoing process, right? So, I mean, there must be... I mean, how frequently are updates coming out to say, oh, we've added this neat little thing, and, you know, or are they tending to sort of roll them out in big milestones? I mean, how...
I suppose the future will tell with that, you know, but obviously this is just the beginning of it. You know, it's going to go on. We're going to get more feedback from users wanting multi-touch for other areas of it. So, you know, we'll listen to that and roll that out if it's doable, definitely.
So multi-touch is available in the base level of Sonar. You don't have to have the producer edition.
No, it's got to be X2a.
Right.
And then you're on multi-touch then.
Right, okay.
You know, there's a lot of areas in here that don't really sort of take advantage of the multi-touch aspect, but again, it's still very useful. sort of just programming patches or entering notes on the matrix editor, things like that.
That was the other thing that we were going to talk about was the you got like the clip launching aspect, which I've not. I remember seeing it mentioned. You know, probably it sort of maybe came to life in P5 back there, way back. You know, that was where it first sort of came out. So just show us what's going on there.
Here are your actual tracks, your physical tracks on the system, and you can route them which way you want. And these are your. Well, in this case, I'm just taking things from a sample library. Right. But you can drag and drop from your arranger, which you need your keyboard, your mouse to actually drag off your arrangement. But obviously, you've got your left, right, depending on how many tracks you've got up, down. You can then just drag samples straight across. Bang, there they are. So as a live performance tool as well, this is your control surface, because you do see a lot of extra control surfaces for controlling things like this. It's there, right? Which is another.
So
good
we
use.
have, and this is essentially we've just played that, and there's a clip launch essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got something like. So at the top here, got sort of different variations of hand percussion.
Okay, and can you launch like the entire row?
Absolutely.
With these at the top?
So we'll do. So you can do that as well. Well, it depends how you've set your performance and how you wish to work with it. So, there's no set way.
So are these clips, can they be like elements of the arrangement, or do they have to be an individual sort of file clip? Or could you sort of go, here's the chorus block?
Absolutely. What you can do on your timeline, you can take bars 6 to 10, slice, drag them.
And they will represent as one clip, or they would be all clips?
They'd be individual clips.
Okay.
They represent what tracks they're currently on.
So is it possible to actually record those performances and sort of play them back? So, anything that you create in this clip launcher is then saved?
You can basically record everything down as audio onto their own separate tracks.
Oh, so you get discrete tracks of each clip as well?
Absolutely,
right, okay.
So what we got here is, as I said, got tracks 1 to 6. These are actually outputted onto channels 1 and 6 as well. So if we just minimise this, okay.
Right, so that's our arrangement. So they're all in record arm.
So I've armed all my tracks that are being used at this moment in time, right there. So we just go back up to a matrix view. So what we need to do then is we back at the beginning, arm.
Into record and then jam away.
So
they're clipped in.
So this is recording just out to audio tracks.
I want to play some more.
Gonna bring these in. Some hand percussion. Maybe change the bass line.
Right, and then if we stop that and then go back into.
So let's minimise that, and as you can see, everything.
So it's recorded everything discrete.
It's recorded discretely.
So but it's not possible to record the metadata of what you did there.
No.
Oh, that's a shame. Because that would be neat, wouldn't it? Because then that'd be almost zero data.
Who knows what the future holds? Something could come out. You never know. So it's totally up to you.
It's interesting. I've not seen this close up before, but it's again, it seems to be something that's being pulled in. But this has been available for a while now.
Yeah, this has been since 8.5. If I'm correct. Yeah.
Because there's other clip launching. I think Bitwig, which is the one that's kind of not here yet, but they're majoring heavily on that whole kind of clip side as well.
Certainly with the touch side of things, this is going to really be of probably more use again. Where somebody existing with Sonar X1 or X2 or even 8.5. Obviously, you need to get X2a to be able to use the touch.
So, what's the product hierarchy then? We've got
you've got the Music Creator, which is Music Creator 6. You've got Sonar X1 Essentials, Sonar X2 Essentials now, Sonar X2 Studio, and then Producer.
Right.
So
Producer is where the touch comes in. Is that right?
That's right through the board from Sonar X. So Sonar X2, so not obviously with the Music Creator and things like that. So you've got Sonar X2 Studio Producer.
Right.
As long as you're on X2a,
you've got it.
You'll be fine, yeah.
And if you've not got a touch system, it's not going to get in the way. It doesn't change the behaviour.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. It's only giving those simple added things which make a big difference.
Right. So now cutting to the moody electronic duo shot. Oliver, actually, you do produce a lot of electronic music yourself and have done for years. I mean, is Sonar, as well as it being your professional kind of gig, Is this what you're actually using yourself to produce?
Absolutely. Now I'm using Sonar X2 in the studio. I've been using Sonar, started on 8.5 a few years ago. After many years, probably since about 98, using Logic, transferred from the PC to the Mac, back to the PC again, not having that freeze function on Logic 5. But I think my personal reasons for jumping ship was because of I could get a PC, build a PC to my financial abilities, where I was struggling. I was using old Mac G4s, then G5s, back and forth.
So are you finding that the Sonar, because this is the thing, I mean, the thing about Logic is, you know, you've got the audio and the kind of instrument and MIDI composition. That's where it won out for a very long time. But it seems to me that, you know, that's all in there with Sonar X2 now.
Yeah.
You've got all the instruments, you know, what the kind of, in terms of synthesizers and samplers and all that's all in there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you've got a whole range that come with it. Obviously, you've got things like Dimension Pro Session Drummer, which is a big one that I use a lot because you've got multi-channel output.
Oh, so you can process the kit as a...
Yeah, which is great, you know. And I'm just one hell of a freak for the drum tracks on the old drum machines.
You've got plenty of... So do you find that... Where do you tend to start on your own arrangements? You know, are you starting from kind of getting a groove together, or do you start with the kind of... You at the piano and coming up with a tune? I mean,
I suppose I start with... probably two different ends of the scale. One is maybe I just might get a little tune in my head, do an 8-bar loop of it, bring it down and do a bit of an arrangement, then add to it. Or others, maybe a concept of just using one analog synth, keeping it basic and working on the sound rather than the music side of things. So like with Zeta 3, where you can, Zeta 2, where you can use lots of different modulation sources. So I might just get a bass line run in with a simple oscillator, then modulate different filters, and just really experiment, you know, until you come up with something.
I will point out that Oliver has a phenomenal collection of antiquated synthesizer technology.
Yeah, most don't work anymore, but that's what you get for buying old vintage things, you know, especially the old samplers and things.
So, as is customary, we do like to let our presenters play us out with a tune. So what have you got for us here, Oliver?
This track mainly consists of the Zeta software synthesizer. The master outputs are all routed through the Pro channel strip at the end using various modules, and this is it.